Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Mark Ewen ahead of his PFL Europe free fight against Alexander Chisov. How are you doing today?
Yeah,
I'm doing good. And how are you feeling ahead of this upcoming fight?
I'm feeling good, mate. I'm in a good state of mind, performing well, feel good, looking good. I've had a change of opponent, right enough.
Yeah,
My opponent's changed. Chizov has actually pulled out. He's tore his MCL, so I've got a new opponent, Danny Dixon. But that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't really change anything, other than the face that I'll be opposing. But it's the same result for me.
exactly. And this is your first fight back in Scotland since your first pro fight. Are you happy to come back and fight in front of the home crowd?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to come back. It's been a while. Not even that long ago, but it feels like it's been a while. Obviously my pro debut was in Scotland. That was a special night. That was actually in Glasgow against a kind of an away crowd. I was getting booed and stuff. I was fighting the home guy, but it's going to be good to come back to Glasgow and come back to the Hydro and have everybody cheer on me and really soak in the atmosphere. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited for it.
Exactly. And you are, if I'm not mistaken, you are training with higher level MMA. How has that
Yes.
been for your development?
Oh, it's basically that. I credit that to all my development, be training at a high level under the tutelage of James Doolan, the head coach up there. He's a man. He's really good at what he does. He's a technician, great coach, great person. And then obviously all the guys up there that are always pushing me, and we're all training hard, and the energy and atmosphere and the culture up there is just different. I thought sometimes we get overlooked being up in Scotland, but that's all about the changing, and it's starting to change at the moment because we're just pushing so hard and we're training so hard and we're getting these big wins and we're doing really well for a wee team in Bathgate. But yeah, we're smashing it.
Yeah, exactly. And you do have a lot of good fighters in your team. You have Paul Craig, who's in the UFC, and then you have Stevie Ray, who was in the UFC but is now in PFL.
Yeah, I've got obviously guys like that, Stevie and Paul. Got Dylan who fights in PFL, Sean who's with Cage Warriors. I've got loads of teammates just now signed to PFL. I've got a few teammates in Cage Warriors. We've had guys for Danny in the UFC. We've had guys in the biggest promotions for long enough. I've been around these guys for a long time and trained with them, and uh, and it's just a testament to the team. We're a good team, and we really get after it up in Scotland. So it's a testament to the work we put in, and that's really it.
And then the MMA scene in September has just been great for Scotland. You also have this event at the end of the month. However, just last weekend you had Cage Warriors up in Glasgow. How do you feel like both of the events coming to Scotland has helped the Scottish MMA scene?
Definitely boosts it. Cage Warriors came obviously at the start of the year, and I had like I think four teammates on it. And they all, I'm sure they all won. I believe that was good for a big show like that to come back to Scotland. It's been a while, like I'm saying. And then they came back just last week. I had two teammates on who got two good wins. And then now PFL's coming. PFL's a bigger show. It's coming to a bigger arena. Going to the Hydro. That's nearly sold out. I've got four teammates on it, so it's going to be a very, very special night. And it's going to definitely boost MMA in Scotland, I would say.
And how do you feel like the talent is from Scotland? Also, we are up and coming. You have the likes of you have Gemma Old, who's making her debut on this card. You then have in Cage Warriors, Sean Clancy Jr., a lot of upcoming fighters. Do you feel like that is just positive for Scotland in a whole?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, there's loads of up and coming fighters. There's guys you probably won't even know about, but you will know about soon enough. There's so many guys coming through our gym at the moment. Even amateur guys that are they're giving the pros hard rounds, man. There's always younger guys coming through. We've got a good kind of like a chain of guys coming through. Like as the older guys start to pass on and give up, there's younger guys just coming to fill the boots and then try and push further. That's just James has got kind of a good little kind of like role going on. Loads of good guys, loads of guys in my team. Scottish MMA is getting bigger, big promotions and that are coming here more often. We're getting recognised more. It's really booming up here, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
And obviously, in your last fight, it was against Claudio Pacella, and unfortunately, you weren't able to get a victory. It was a decision defeat. How did you feel like that fight went?
Eh, Obviously not my way. first loss in a long time, definitely my last. But my intention going in that fight was all wrong. Was just trying to bang him out. I just thought I'd go in there and put my way in, and I'll be on the cage celebrating and stake my claim in PFL. But it's not the case. I should have came in like I usually come in with a solid game plan, respect for my opponent, and be willing to be there 15 minutes and put it on somebody, and even want to be there and just put it on somebody and cause some damage. Usually I go in there and I'm standing in front of somebody and I'm going to give them it for 15 minutes and I don't care if the ref pulls me off or whatever. Like I'm there the full time. I'm willing to go. I'm ready to go. Whereas that one, the intention was different. I just wanted to bang them out and get out of there. Which is my mistake. I've learned from it. Learned loads, even some of the tactical errors I never adjusted when I should have. I wasn't listening to my coaches when I should have been. But we move. I was getting complacent and I needed that kick up the arse that I had. So, and I truly believe I beat him 9 times out of 10. That was his one. I'll get that back hopefully at some point.
Exactly. And what is next for you after this fight, if you get the victory? Are you looking to get into the PFL Europe tournament scene next year and then hopefully progress to the PFL main regular season after that? Or what's next?
I will say when I get this victory, there is no ifs and buts. I will
Yeah,
definitely be winning this fight. But in saying that, I'm totally focused on this fight at the moment. I have plans and visions for later on in the year and next year, but they're at the moment they're redundant. They are irrelevant, really. I'm totally focused and solely focused on going in on the 20th of September at the Hydro and getting the job done and finishing Daniel Dixon and getting a big win, getting myself back in the win column. And then we can talk about what we're going to do towards the end of the year and next year and stuff. But aye, we probably will be back with PFL or whatever, man. Like, I'm destined for this. I truly believe that I'm going to go on and be a world champion. Doesn't matter where I am, PFL, UFC, whatever. I'm here for the long run. I'm here to fight the best guys and beat the best guys, and I'm here to be the best. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me.
exactly. And you are one of Scotland's most up and coming talents from just around the world. So do you feel like having that title it is deserved?
I would say so. I've never ever turned a fight down. I've never ever looked
Yeah,
for an easy fight. I've not fought any jobbies, any cans, nothing like that. I've always tried to find the hardest fights. I've been to South Africa, I've been to Paris, I've fought whoever. I've always tried to fight the biggest guys with the best records. And just to show how good I really believe I am. And I believe that is credited, aye. And I'm going to continue to prove how good I am, beating the best guys on my way up to the top.
exactly. And like you're saying, you went to South Africa with EFC, you then went to Paris with Aries, and you now are been at Newcastle with PFL. What do you feel like the main difference between the PFL on the big stage is to these other promotions?
Well, I fought on Bellator just before I fought on PFL, so I kind of got a feel for the big stages. But even AFC is a massive stage, like that's huge. Aris also massive, so I've had a feel for it early on in my career, and I wanted that. I wanted to travel the world and fight in the biggest promotions to get a feel for what it'd be like to walk out to sold out arenas and the big pressure and the big occasion and the good fighters that I'm opposing. But I've always wanted that. I'm ready for that. I'm open to that. But it's good to be in PFL now, one of the biggest promotions, and they're constantly getting bigger and they're progressing and getting better. So it's cool to be with them and during the evolution, as they kind of climb the ranks and as they get better and more known and bigger, it's cool to be in amongst that and be part of the kind of revolution in a way.
And you did turn pro after a first round knockout against Teddy Stringer that brought in a 16 fight amateur career. What was it that got you from that fight to being a pro?
Uh,
You just feel like the time was
it,
right?
it was just time. I think I'd finished everybody I'd fought in amateur. Struggling. It was getting to the point where I was struggling to get fights, and I was like, "This is just taking the piss. Let's turn pro." And then, obviously, I wanted to turn pro as I was getting older. I was like, "Let's go and get the pro rank." I mean, that was always a goal of mine, as a young kid, to be a professional fighter, be a full time fighter. I was full time even amateur, but I mean, like to say you're a professional is a big thing. So it was time to make that jump, and when I did, we also had the same struggles. I was struggling to get matched for the first couple of years. I was struggling to get a fight, and then I finally got one and got the ball rolling, but. I would say, but I turned pro because I was struggling to get fights at amateur, and had no business really being an amateur. I was the number one in the UK and Ireland in topology and stuff, so I beat everybody that needed to be beat, and no one else was really saying my name, and I couldn't get fights, so it was time to turn pro.
And then you got that pro debut against Michael Blair, and you were able to get the stoppage victory. Was there any nerves heading into that because it was your pro debut, or did you just know you had the ability to get the victory, so it was completely fine?
There's always a little bit of nerves, but I knew for a fact I had the ability, and I always know that I have the ability to go in and shut anyone's lights off and get the W. My brother passed away at the start of that year, so I had extra motivation going into that one of turning pro and going in there against that away crowd and just silencing them and hurting Michael Blair. And that's exactly what I did. I put him away, shut his lights out in spectacular fashion. It was a nasty knockout, and then I silenced the crowd, and that's exactly what I wanted. Everybody left that arena. I left that town hall, whatever it was, fucking minor club. Everyone knew my name. Do you know what I mean? That's what I wanted. I'm
Yeah.
coming here to make a statement, and that's exactly what I've done. My pro debut, done that, and left with my hand raised.
So I'm sorry to hear that about your brother. How
Thank
much
you.
do you value about tape study in the sport?
Tape study.
Yeah.
I'm starting to value it a lot more. I'm starting to do a lot more. I never used to. I used to watch maybe like I would always watch my opponent's fights just to see what they were like, but I would never study it really and digress it much. But now that I'm professional, I would say I've started to do it a lot more now, and I'm really into it now. I'm getting better at it. I'm doing more of it, and there's always something to learn in it. But you can't. I don't think you can be too attached to what you see on YouTube or in fights because you never know how they're going to come in. You know what I mean? You could be watching a fight
Yeah.
for maybe 2 years ago, or maybe you can't find footage on your opponent. Yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones. I've fought guys before where you can't find footage anywhere, so you just go in there not having a clue. So in times like that, you just really need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on your skills and what you bring to the table. You can't get too stuck in the trap of what they're going to do and what they're going to bring, because then you'll fall into their trap and fall into their games. Obviously, there's a time where you need to be prepared for that, and I believe you do so, but you also need to kind of play to your strengths.
And what was it that got you into the cage?
A friend of mine started training MMA, and I just said I'm going to come with you. I went with him and fell in love with it, but that's not why I stayed. I think I stayed because I realised this is where I'm meant to be. I went just for the fun, and I felt like it was something was dragging me, something was calling me. I went for fun, and I stayed because I needed it. I stayed because it became my anchor. It became who I was attached to, and I also realised that this is my path, my way to go on and become a better version of myself and provide for my family. That's one of my main aims, and it's always been my biggest aim is to look after my family, people that support me and believe in me and love me. I want to look after them. So I've realised I can do it through this passion, this pursuit of mine. So why not give them all and do that?
Exactly. So far in your career, what do you feel like has been your trickiest fight?
My trickiest fight, probably my last one, just but that's really down to me. I would say I just my intention, my mindset. I wasn't listening to my coaches. I wasn't clear on what I wanted to do. I was just had a change of opponent like maybe like 3 4 weeks out. So I was like my head's all over the place. I just it doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to go in. They're going to get banged it. Blah 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 blah. I was just kind of starting to think I was a bit maybe the guy, and I was getting complacent. Whereas that should never be the case. I usually train for every opponent like they're a world champion, like they are the world
Yeah,
champion. They're trying to take food off my plate, and obviously I did train like that, but I just never had the intention going in, and I overlooked my opponent, which I'll never ever do again. And that was definitely a tricky fight, I would say.
and do you feel like with that defeat, it just gave you that you were able to learn from that and just be like, you're never going to do those same mistakes again?
100%. It'd be insane for me to go in and make the same mistakes again. You need to learn from your mistakes, iron them out, come back stronger, sharper, better version of yourself. It'd be stupid of me to not learn from my mistakes. I've learned so much from that fight already, not only mentally but physically, tactically. Any way I can, I've reflected in that fight, and I'm eager to go in and redeem myself.
That sounds great. And I know you're going to go out there, get that victory, and come back even stronger next time around. I'll let you have the final word. Is there anything else you're wanting to say or anyone you're wanting to shout out?
Thank you for the kind words, mate. I appreciate that. I just want to shout out all my sponsors. If you go on my Instagram and you'll see all my sponsors and my highlights and stuff, I'm posting about them regularly. Without them, I wouldn't be able to pursue this career and chase my dreams. Also, my team at higher level, my coach James Doolan, all my family, everybody that supports me, it means the world. And I do it for them. Thank you.
Well, that sounds great. And I know you're going to get the victory.